Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling something that I think haunts a lot of us, even if we don't always admit it. It's that split second of hesitation before you hit send on a really important email.
That moment where you freeze.
Exactly. You've done the work, the data is solid, the strategy is brilliant, but you look at the sentence you just wrote, and it feels, well, a little wobbly.
Shaky is the perfect word for it. It's not that the idea is wrong. It's that the vehicle delivering the idea, it feels unsafe, like the wheels might come off.
And that's what we're digging into today. We are looking at the absolute bedrock of professional presence. And I know as soon as I say the words subject-verb agreement, half our listeners might have a flashback to like fourth grade grammar drills.
Oh, absolutely. But stay with us.
Please stay with us.
Because what we're looking at today isn't about memorizing rules for a test.
Yeah.
It's about psychology.
Yeah.
It's about authority. It's asking you to stop thinking about grammar as just a list of do's and don'ts.
And start seeing it as something else,
Right. Start looking at your sentences as a stage production.
which I love. We're going to talk about actors, costumes, set design, and even ghosts.
We are. And it creates a totally different and, frankly, much more useful framework for writing.
But before we get to the theater, let's establish the stakes here. Our mission today is to make sure your communication never feels wobbly again. And that brings us to the first major visual, the furniture analogy.
This is such a visceral way to start. I want you to visualize a room.
Okay.
And on the left side, there's a wooden chair.
But not a nice chair?
No, not at all. It's old. It's got a loose back. One leg is clearly shorter than the others.
The kind of chair where if you sit in it, you aren't thinking about the conversation. You're thinking, am I going to end up on the floor?
Exactly. We call this wobbly credibility. And here's the key insight. When you make a mechanical error in your writing, specifically a subject-verb disagreement, it creates this cognitive dissonance in the reader's brain.
It feels like that broken chair.
It feels exactly like sitting in that broken chair. It's a distraction. It's worse than a distraction, really. It's a safety hazard for your ideas. The reader can't get comfortable with your message because they're subconsciously worried about the structure holding it up.
So let's look at the example provided. It's a sentence that, it physically hurts to say out loud. The reports is incomplete.
The reports is incomplete. Ouch.
It really grates on the ear, doesn't it?
It does. And think about the professional context. Those reports might be vital. Your analysis of why they're incomplete might be genius. But the moment you say the reports is, you've introduced that wobble.
The listener stops thinking about the data. They stop thinking about the deadline. They just get stuck on that little glitch. They're thinking, wait, did they just say is?
Precisely. You've lost their trust. Now look at the other side of the room. On the right, you have this massive, that is stable authority. When you say the reports are incomplete, the mechanics, they just disappear. The structure is sound, so the reader doesn't even notice it exists. They just relax into the message.
So our goal today is to burn the wobbly chair.
Yes.
We want to build the armchair. And to do that, we need to completely shift our perspective. We need to stop looking at words on a page and start looking for the lead actor.
This is the core metaphor that runs through everything we're going to discuss. So I want you to imagine a literal spotlight beaming down on a dark stage. Every sentence you write, whether it's a text to your boss or a proposal for a client, that's a stage.
And on that stage, there has to be a star.
Right. There is one specific person, thing, or idea that is the focal point. In, boring grammar textbooks, we call this the subject.
But lead actor is so much better.
It is, because it implies agency. It implies that this thing is driving the action.
Okay, let's break this down with a simple script. The example is, the manager writes an email.
The manager writes an email. Simple enough.
If we analyze this, there's an action happening.
The action is writes. That's your verb. But the spotlight isn't on the writing itself. The spotlight is on the person performing the action. So who is in the spotlight?
The manager.
Correct. The manager is the lead actor. Now, in a 3-word sentence, this seems easy, but finding that spotlight, identifying exactly who or what the actor is, that's the first step to everything else.
Because if you can't find the actor,
You can't dress them correct.
dressing the actor, this brings us to the costume department. And I have to say, this was the moment where the concept really, truly clicked for me. It turns a grammar rule into a matching game.
It really does. So stick with the theater metaphor. The actor is on stage, but they can't go out naked. They need a costume. In this context, the costume is the verb, and specifically we're looking at those tricky verbs, is and are.
So imagine a clothing rack backstage, a rolling rack, and hanging on it are two shirts.
One shirt has a giant label that says IS. The other shirt has a label that says IAA.
And just like in a real costume department, you can't just grab the first thing you see. You have to check the size.
You have to match the size to the actor. And the sizing chart here is remarkably straightforward.
So what's the breakdown?
If you have a singular actor, meaning just one person, one idea, one report, they must wear the is costume.
Okay, one actor, one is.
Exactly. But if you have a plural actor, a group, a team, multiple things, they must wear the are costume.
So subject-verb agreement isn't some mystical linguistic alignment used to torture students.
No, it's just wardrobe.
It's just wardrobe.
You wouldn't put a toddler's t-shirt on a linebacker, right? And you wouldn't put a singular is on a plural subject. It just doesn't fit. It looks ridiculous and it sounds wobbly.
This leads us to what is called the golden rule of quantity. It simplifies everything down to, well, basic math.
It really is all about counting. The visuals here use these great little stick figure drawings to drive the point home.
Let's visualize those. On one side, we have a single stick figure, just one person standing there in the spotlight. And there's a big arrow pointing to the is shirt.
Right. Singular. Count to one. Use is.
And on the other side,
We see a group of stick figures, 3 of them standing together. That represents plural, more than one. And the big arrow points to the are shirt.
so the mantra here is, if you can count it as one, use is. If there's more than one, use are.
That's the golden rule. If you stick to that, you solve, 90% of these problems instantly.
Let's put this into practice then. We're going to run through some drills. First, we're focusing on the power of one, identifying singular subjects.
Okay, let's look at the first example. The small dog is barking loudly.
The small dog is barking loudly. I see the word dog. That's our actor.
Correct. And how many dogs?
Just one.
So we use the is costume. The dog is barking. Now notice something here. There's another word in the spotlight. Small. Does that change anything?
No, it just describes the dog.
Exactly. And that's a key insight. Describing words adjectives like small, blue, angry, they're just makeup. They don't change the count. You are always looking for the core noun.
Let's try the second one. My favorite book is on the shelf.
Same thing. Favorite is just a description. The actor is book. One book. So book is.
And the third one. The new restaurant is opening next week.
Again, we have new, but the actor is restaurant. One restaurant. So the restaurant is opening.
It seems so obvious when we slow it down like this.
It is. But in the heat of writing, when you're stressed, rushing to get an update out, we often get distracted by those extra words. But if you keep that power of one in mind, you'll be fine.
Now let's flip it. Let's talk about identifying plural subjects. We're calling this section the crowd.
So now we're looking for the are custom.
What's the giveaway here? How do we spot the crowd if we're skimming a text?
We have a key indicator. You look for the S at the end of the noun. In English, that S is usually the dead giveaway for many.
Okay, let's look at the example. The new cars are red.
Right. Visualize it. We see a parking lot, many cars. The word cars ends in an S. That tells us immediately there's more than one.
So cars are.
Cars are.
What about the next one? My parents are coming to visit.
This is a classic. Parents. You can see the visual of 2 stick figures. 2 people.
So we've counted past one.
Exactly. More than one equals are. Parents are coming.
Okay, so singular is one, plural is more than one. But life isn't always that simple, is it? Sometimes we have separate things that come together. This is where we get to the magic of and.
Ah, yes, the equation. This is where we do a little bit of addition. The formula is 1 + 1 equals plural.
I love the visual for this one. It's a bucket.
A bucket.
Yes, a plural team bucket. The idea is that you take 2 separate things, 2 distinct actors, and you drop them into this bucket to create a team.
That's a great way to think about it. Let's look at the example. The cat and the dog are sleeping.
So let's play devil's advocate for a second. Separately, the cat is one. It would take an is, and the dog is one. It would also take an is.
Right. If they were in separate rooms, you'd say the cat is sleeping and the dog is sleeping.
But they weren't separate here.
No. The word and is the connector. It's the glue. It connects them into that team. Once they're connected by and, they become a group. 1 + 1 equals 2. And since 2 is more than 1, we need the are costume.
So saying the cat and the dog is sleeping would be wrong because the team is plural.
Correct. It creates that wobbly chair feeling immediately.
Here is another one. The tables and chairs are in the hall.
Same logic. Tables, plural, plus chairs, plural, connected by and. It's definitely a big group. The tables and chairs are.
Is there a rule of thumb for this?
The rule is, if and connects the subjects, you almost always use are. It's the magic word that creates a plural team.
All right, so far so good. We have our actors, our costumes, and our teams. But every good story has a twist. And in the story of subject-verb agreement, the villain is the scenery.
Plot twist. Don't be fooled by the scenery. This is probably the most common trap for even experienced writers. I see C-level executives make this mistake all the time.
The concept here is the scenery trap. These are prepositional phrases, words describing time or place that try to trick you.
They're incredibly distracting. They sit right next to the verb and try to pretend that they're the actor. But they're just background noise. They're set design.
Let's walk through the garden example, because this one trips people up constantly. The sentence is, in the garden, the flowers are beautiful.
Okay, look at the layout of that sentence. In the garden, the word garden is right there. It's a noun. It's singular. There's only one garden.
So your brain, especially if typing fast, wants to say, the garden is.
Exactly. Your ear hears garden and instinctively wants to match it with is. It's a proximity bias. But in the garden is just telling you where we are. It's the set design. It is not the actor.
So we have to look past the garden.
Yes. You have to interrogate the sentence. Ask yourself, what is actually beautiful here? Is the garden beautiful?
Well, technically, the sentence says the flowers are beautiful.
Bingo. Flowers is the actor,
Mm.
and flowers is plural. So even though the word garden is sitting right there, waving its arms, trying to get your attention, you had to ignore it. The flowers are beautiful.
This is a really helpful way to parse it. The garden isn't what's beautiful. The flowers are.
And that leads us to the technique we need to use to defeat this trap. We call it X-ray vision.
X-ray vision. I like that. We need to see through the clutter.
Right. We need to look through the distracting phrases, the scenery, to spot the real connection between the actor and the costume.
So let's recap that garden example using X-ray vision. We see, in the garden, the flowers are beautiful. We visualize a laser beam jumping right over in the garden to connect flowers directly to R.
Correct. Let's try a harder one. This one happens in business emails every single Friday. On the weekend, my brother's busy.
Okay. On the weekend. Weekend is singular.
But is the weekend busy? Can a weekend be busy?
No. The weekend is it's a timestamp on the calendar.
Exactly. It's scenery. Who is busy?
My brother.
And how many brothers?
1. Singular.
So brother is. The arrow of your X-ray vision jumps over on the weekend to link brother and is.
It really is about just asking who or what, isn't it? If you ask who is busy, you get the answer immediately.
That's the key. Don't get mesmerized by the words immediately before the verb. Ask who the real actor is.
Okay, we have one more mystery to solve. We've had the lead actor, the team, and the scenery. Now we have the mystery of the invisible actor.
This one sounds a little spooky.
It does. The visual here is a ghost figure.
And this refers to command sentences. These are sentences where the subject seems to be completely missing from the state.
Like the example, open the door.
Right. Open the door, there's a verb. Open. But who's the actor? The door isn't opening itself. And there's no name listed.
It's not written down. It's just a blank space.
It is, but it's implied. The subject is you.
The invisible you.
When I look at you and say open the door, I'm really saying you open the door. I just dropped the pronoun because we're in a conversation.
And what's the rule for you?
You is a special case in English grammar. You always, and I mean always, pairs with are.
Always. Even if I'm talking to just one person.
Always. Think about it. You say, you are my friend. You never say, you is my friend.
That would sound very wobbly.
Extremely wobbly. So in a command like, be quiet.
The translation is, you are quiet.
Precisely. So even though the word be is there, the underlying logic is that the invisible you triggers the plural form logic.
So the ghost in the machine is always you, and you always wears the R costume.
That's the rule.
This has been quite a journey through the theater of grammar. We've covered a lot of ground, but we can boil this all down into a very simple methodology, the two-step process.
I love a good process. This synthesizes everything we've discussed, the actors, the costumes, the scenery, into a foolproof workflow you can use while you're writing.
Step 1, SK.
Ask, who is the lead actor? And remember, when you ask this, you have to use your X-ray vision. Ignore the scenery, find the person or thing that's actually doing the being or doing.
And step 2.
Count.
Count. How many actors are there? It's just simple math.
And then it splits into two paths.
Path 1, 1 actor. If the count is one, use is.
Path 2. More than one actor. If the count is more than one, use are.
It is that simple. Ask and count.
To make this even easier to remember, there is a grammar cheat sheet. Let's just visualize this chart for everyone listening. It has 4 rows.
Row 1, singular. Examples. The car, the book, count is 1. The result is a big blue circle that says IS.
Row 2, plural. Examples. The cars, parents, count is many. The result is a red circle that says RE.
Row 3, composite. This is our AND rule. Example. The cat plus dog, count is team, result, red circle, RE.
And row 4, command. The invisible U, result.
Red circle, RE.
If you keep that mental image singular gets is, pretty much everything else gets are, you're golden.
It's a great cheat sheet. And honestly, this isn't just about grammar. It's about cognitive load.
What do you mean by that? Well, looking back at where we started with that wobbly chair, when you're writing important ideas, your brain is working hard. You're thinking about strategy, tone, persuasion. You shouldn't have to burn energy wondering if is or are is correct.
That's a great point. This cheat sheet is like the blueprint for that solid armchair. It takes the guesswork out.
It absolutely is. And that brings us to the final thought. Let your ideas be the star.
There's a big green check mark next to the words. Stable, professional, authoritative.
That's the goal. We don't learn these rules just to pass a test or to be grammar nerds. We learn them so that we can stop worrying about them. By mastering the simple matching game actor to costume, you stop thinking about the mechanics.
And when you start worrying about the mechanics, you can focus on the message.
Exactly. When the grammar is stable, the audience focuses entirely on what you have to say. Your brilliance isn't hidden behind a wobbly delivery.
Start writing with confidence. That is the final instruction.
It's a great instruction, because when you know your actor is wearing the right costume, you can let them perform without fear. You know the stage isn't going to collapse under them.
So to all our listeners out there, next time you are drafting an email, a proposal, or even a text message, just take a second. Look for the spotlight.
Find your lead actor
Fell to one.
and dress them in the right costume.
It's a small change, but the impact on your authority is massive.
It really is.
Before we go, here's something to chew on. We often think that we use language to describe reality, but in cases like this, your control over language actually shapes your reality. If you can control the structure of your sentences, you control how people perceive your competence. It's a superpower hiding in plain sight.
I love that. Control the grammar, control the perception.
That's all for today's deep dive. We hope you feel a little less wobbly and a lot more authoritative. Go out there and let your ideas be the star. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye, everyone.